Welcome to the Crimeycade podcast and a special Sunday edition since I had to make some accommodations. And, I've only done one other Sunday podcast, and that was with Tracy Gleave, who was out in the United Kingdom. So I had to accommodate for my work schedule and the time difference so she could do my podcast. And it's a July afternoon. It is raining outside. In fact, the Midwest has been dealing with a lot of rainfall in the past few days and catastrophic flooding. Last week, Texas, all the news reports about that tragedy down in Texas and Christian summer camp, all the kids drowning due to massive rainfall. The Quad Cities endured a similar situation a couple of Friday, and venues had to be turned into emergency storm shelters in a hurry, and kind of a mess up there. 6 inches of rainfall in a very short amount of time. That is seem to have a lot of these once every 500-year storms, but they say global warming, but we're not burning up yet. We're just having more rain lately. So, but we have bad weather somewhere in the country every year. Anyway, if you did not tune in, so my podcast last Thursday was King Cam Black Man Brandon Travis, also guest starring Allison Dearwell from California. We went 3 hours on this podcast. We did not break any records, although we are starting to approach the second longest podcast at 3 hours and 20 minutes. We stopped at 3 hours and 10 minutes. If you have not seen this podcast yet, go back and watch it. It's probably one of my most watched pods live, and people are still checking it out. So it's on my Twitch channel for the next 2 weeks until it moves over to YouTube. And now I'm only 7 followers, 7 followers away to get to 100, so I can co-stream this pod on Facebook besides Twitch. So give me a follow if you're on Facebook. I just need 7 to reach that magic number of 100. All right. And, well, let me throw this up here. Next weekend, yes, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the fighting game tournament. 1 week from today. In fact, exactly 1 week from now, this very minute, 1 week from now, is the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournament. $25 to enter. It'll be at the Headless Horseman Arcade in Wheeling, Illinois. So, encourage you to sign up for that tournament. I am going to enter and try to win myself some championship gold. And my guest can relate to some championship gold, as I'm going to take this down and then show this little intro video that he has on his YouTube channel. Check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Midwest Gaming Classic World Champion, Player 1, Johnny Cash.
And here he is, the man himself, the Midwest Gaming, little bit of a contradiction there. It's called the Midwest Gaming Classic World Championship. That is, Midwest and World are mixed together, and the convention is only out of Wisconsin or the Midwest. So how's it a world title? Hello?
Well, I'm glad you actually asked that because this. Can you hear me?
All right. Test
Can you
one,
hear
two,
me?
three. Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you now.
I don't know what the heck was going on there. I don't know if there shouldn't be a time, shouldn't be massive lag time because you're in the United States. You're up in Wisconsin, or not Wisconsin, but the
Iowa.
corner of Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois.
Yep. Yep. Anyway, I did heard what you said before, and I said that I was glad you asked that because I can explain a little bit about that, and this is going to actually tie in to what I have been talking to the higher ups and the Midwest Gaming Classic about. And I've been wanting to do this for a while now. And I finally, after this year, got confirmation by the entertainment runner, um, Matt Isbill. And we pretty much decided to take this championship and pretty much take it further than what they could do with it, as well as myself. And what that entails is
Hmm.
I'm been traveling around the world a little bit. I mean, not the world, but the U.S. a little bit as of late, and I want to challenge people, or I want to be challenged by guys that are bigger than me, stronger than me, because in my opinion, the only way for myself to get better inside of the ring is to be challenged by the bigger guys, the stronger guys, the vets, um, and whoever else wants to step up. And I, at the time, was talking about to these guys about thinking of this kind of like adding DLC to my wrestling matches. And then
Okay.
something clicked up. That's when I was like, adding something like DLC. So why not make it like a DLC match and make this title known for the DLC match? So I came up with doors, not ladders, but Legos, the type wrestling match. I believe that it will fit in well with my character. And when I defend this championship from here on out at the Midwest Gaming Classic, it will add to the match. And I think it'll gain more eyes and attention and making the championship belt mean even more than what it does now.
Somebody told me they turned down a match with you because Legos were employed, and he didn't want to. His wrestling persona didn't want to associate with hardcore matches and crap, Legos included. Even though he wouldn't be slammed, or he claimed he wasn't going to be slammed with it, he just didn't want to be associated with hardcore wrestling. Um, I found that interesting when I brought your name up with that I had you on as a future guest and talked about turning down a match. So you are still lagging, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I
I
think I
don't
know who you're
know if
talking about because I was. Uh,
do you have a virtual background going on, because that might be the
Let
reason.
me exit and come back in.
Okay, I'll hang on a second.
No, no, this is.
I do know that the weather has played havoc up there, and I don't know if that is a factor with your internet connection. Yeah, I'm a tech, so I have to deal with this every freaking day at my real job. Uh,
It possibly could be. Am I still?
we'll just have to we'll just have to
Am I
wing
still
it.
lagging? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can tell when there's the great thing about StreamYard
Can you?
is my
Okay.
connection's good. If my connection goes bad, um, you're still live until I can come back. This time you're having your connection to StreamYard and back to me seems to have a bit of a hang up. So we're just gonna have to work with it, I guess. Um, I want to make sure you
Yeah,
don't
unfortunately.
freeze.
We did actually get affected up here too.
Yeah, it's raining here now, but you had a lot more rain up there.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if you.
But um we can continue this if you want and just try to see what happens. I mean, as long as I'm not constantly going in and out and you can hear me like at least decently, I think we're good.
Yeah. Don't wait for me to respond to you. Just go ahead and roll after I ask a question. If I'm cutting out, let me know. We got this private chat over here, if necessary. All right, let me
Okay.
just start this off. So, what motivated me to ask you to come on my podcast is, I'm looking for guests, and I had on a previous guest that was at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I wanted to have another guest that was at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and then it's like, who can I ask now? And it's like, I know this gentleman who carries around a championship belt that I'd like to have around my waist, but I don't, I don't think I can ever have it around my waist because it's a wrestling title and not a gaming title. However, what also caught my eye is you only had 2 matches the entirety of 2025 so far, which is kind of interesting. Can you explain why that is? And there's lag.
Yeah, there was. You kind of cut in and out too.
Uh
Let me
oh.
exit and then rejoin, and I'll see if
Okay.
that changes anything. I'm hoping it does.
All right. Take you down for a second. All right. He's going to try to fix his internet, and we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back. Okay. We're back. And let's bring our guest back in here. All right. How's it now? You switched to a cell phone, I believe.
Yeah, I kind of had to. I think I don't know if it's my laptop that's slowing me down, or I think it's my laptop just being old. So that could be it. Can you hear me now? Am I lagging at
Oh
all?
yeah, it's a lot better. A lot more. No pixelation. Your voice is louder. It's every so yeah. I guess.
Awesome.
All right, let's get back. So what motivated me to bring you on this podcast was, I've been I've got a 21-year streak and going to the Midwest Gaming Classic, and I'll get into kind of the early memories of it because it's wrestling related. There's some wrestling related stuff in there. You've been coming to the Midwest Gaming Classic with this new championship belt, and I brought up Midwest and World being in the name together. You were starting to explain it, and then boom, it cut out. Then downloadable content, and then somebody turned down a match with you because of Legos. But going back, what caught my attention was you've only had 2 matches in 2025, which I find that hard to believe because, in my opinion, Federation Sprawl, that is, everyone and their mom is running a promotion lately. You being a experienced wrestler with a gimmick and being part of a um, celebrity media company or being a member of it, how in the world is it that you only have had 2 matches in the year 2025 so far? And I believe all of them at Midwest Gaming itself, right?
Right. I was honestly kind of shocked that they didn't um, they didn't give me more than what I thought I was going to get this year, and I believe that was due to the wrestling promotion being all scrambled and jumbled from having a show the night prior. So they just had me do like a segment in the ring, and then that was it. There was no story going into it. There was nothing talked about besides me um, pretty much dropping the title for that weekend so the guys can pass it around. Um, I told them that was fine if that's what they wanted to do, but mentally I wasn't okay with that. But I didn't want to let down the fans that come there to watch the wrestling. Be like, oh, where's Johnny? Where's the championship? So the angle was is that I was going to go out there, kind of meet everybody before the show, get them all hyped. And I want to say after the third or fourth match, I was going to come out there and start talking on the mic. These guys were going to come out, talk to me, try to challenge me, jump me from behind. And Swaggle and his crew came out for the save. And that's when I thought maybe they might make a match between those guys with me, Swaggle, and his guys. But ultimately, that didn't happen because there wasn't that much time to um, plan stuff out, I guess. It kind of sucks because it hurt me a little bit emotionally because it's like I'm kind of known for wrestling at the Midwest Gaming Classic, especially in Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and some people out west in Oregon and Washington actually know me from that. And I had to quickly make up something to the fans to explain to them what happened, and so that the angle I had to kind of create the story on my own, which was when they hit that big move on me, I injured my back a little bit, my upper back,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't defend my championship, so I vacated it to the promotion for that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I ultimately ended up getting it back because the story goes, nobody wanted it. And to me,
You
that
gotta
makes,
be.
yeah.
And Hornswoggle wanted to. No. I think I'm off topic if I even bring this up. So go ahead.
Well, Swoggle's a good guy. I love him. He's freaking awesome, and everybody else in that promotion too. ACW, always phenomenal. At some point, what I wanted to do is if he would have had the time to talk before I started wrestling. I was introduced by Swoggle when they introduced wrestling in 2021 for the first time, or was it 2020 in November?
I
Whatever.
have it queued up. So hang on. I'm going to throw this up on the screen right now. This
Okay.
is from my old Central Illinois Pro Wrestling This Week program that is now retired due to drama. But this is the segment I was filming.
Okay. I had no idea. That is cool.
This was my TV show up until February 2023. And this,
Oh wow.
yeah, this is you. They didn't call you Cass, they just called you Johnny.
Yeah.
I was at the time toting around my Gamer of the Year title from Galloping Ghost.
This is the first time I'll let your viewers know as well as you. This is the first time I'm seeing this because I didn't have anybody to record anything or take pictures or nothing like this. Thank you so much for showing me
You
this.
did
This
not
does
know
mean
this.
a lot to me.
Yeah, PWCI this week, episode 303 on my YouTube channel. And this match, I believe, is yeah, Hornswoggle has a guy coming out that he doesn't care for.
Drake Daniels is his name, I believe.
Yeah. And I'm gonna turn this down because I'm gonna hear myself commentate the match. I'll turn it down a little bit. Yeah, this is the first year that wrestling came out to the Midwest Gaming Classic, which was a surprise.
No,
Because
this was the November show, right? I think it was November of 2020 because that's when everything started to get better and they wanted to do a show. And I think they canceled that first. And then at the last second, that's when they announced they were coming to do the show, I believe.
no, December 2021.
Oh, so it was 2021. Okay.
Yeah, 2021. So yes, I went out. Yeah, 2021. It was like I was real disappointed I couldn't. 2020 was canceled, and then all that COVID
Yeah.
crap.
Now,
I've
see,
not.
that, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is the guy that I wanted to do a story with, and it would have been perfect at last year's Midwest Gaming Classic because this could have set the tone for the match for the championship. Like this could have
This
gotten the crowd hot because he pushed me when I was still in training, and I looked at the ref and I was like, "What are you gonna do?" And he's like, "Sorry, but you're not a trained wrestler. You got to leave the ring." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He just pushed me, and they couldn't do nothing about it. So I was like, "Oh, whatever. I'll get my revenge back at him one day."
I can skip ahead and get towards the closing moments of this match because this is going to go for about, gosh, 10 more minutes. And I have other footage of you from past Midwest Gaming. I will confess, I skipped the wrestling at the Midwest Gaming this year because I'm trying to kind of phase out of the wrestling stuff entirely, which was like, crap, the wrestling stuff has infiltrated the game cons. And I'm trying to get away from it because of the daggum drama.
Yeah.
But now
What's
it's
cool
like,
though, what's cool though about wrestling is, and this is how Johnny Cass thinks too, and this is kind of like how I threw him together. When I was going through training, I was also lucky enough to be trained by um, the franchise Shane Douglas, who happens to be an ECW legend.
yep,
And he mentioned to me too, like once you're starting up in wrestling and you're doing this character development, always sprinkle a little bit of your own reality in with the character that you want to make, so you feel that much more comfortable when you're out there. And I thought about that. It stuck with me, and it's like, well, I love everything gaming because it meant so much to me as a kid growing up, and it saved my life multiple times. It was my escape from certain realities growing up, and that's when I was like, all right, well, I want to make my character like a tribute to the pop culture of the '80s and the '90s and the 2000s, and that's when I incorporated stuff like my gear sets that I've dedicated to um, a video game called Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I have
mhm,
a gear set dedicated to Jason David Frank, who played Tommy Oliver in the Power Rangers. I have a gear set dedicated to one of the greatest movies of the '80s of all time, in my opinion, Purple Rain. And um, I got another gear set that I just bought to try out the biker shorts. It doesn't really have a meaning. I might use that for like a heel version of Johnny Cass in the future. But and so I had to kind of like mix this all up together and figure out how I wanted to do this. And it took me. You never stop learning in this business either.
mhm.
So I kept thinking, I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do? How am I going to present myself? Um, so the way that helped me kind of work my character into wrestling was like, okay, think of wrestling as like an RPG video game. You have to create your character from scratch. You have to dress him up the way you want him to be dressed. You have to give him a name. You have to give him attributes. You have to pick out certain things that stand out, like certain moves and certain like walks and looks, etc. and go from there, which is like every match that I have is like leveling up Johnny Cass because he needs to do that. The further I level up, the more experience I get, XP that I get, the more fans I get, the more people that hate me or don't like me I get. It's all positive. And if I'm doing one or the other and it's working, then I'm doing my job. And that's one thing that I absolutely love about this business. I haven't really had any heel runs besides in PWX out of Streator, Illinois. That was like a short-lived type of deal because when they turned me heel about a couple of months after, they shut down, and I went back to being
That
a
was a bit
face.
of a mess, that Fed.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
the first Tim Lyle, Dr. Timothy Lyle, who founded Powerhouse Wrestling Incorporated, and then it was sold to who was it, Jimmy Stubble or
Smooth,
whatever,
Jimmy
whatever.
Smooth.
Yeah, and they got this place in a mall in Streator, and then really built this thing up real nice and stuff. And then, but good grief, their first outdoor show was the background at the location was a adult establishment
Hmm.
that was not for kids. It's one of those
No.
I guess deja vu like bars.
Yeah.
Like wow, that's pretty extreme, all right. Was
Right.
my joke.
Yeah. Then stuff started happening behind the scenes, and things got found out about certain people, and then they decided to cut ties with certain people, and they broke away and became this awesome company called MCW, Midwest Championship Wrestling Illinois. And unfortunately, Jimmy Smooth passed away. I want to say last year. Um, I guess the host said that he's got trouble or maybe some interruptions. So I'm here, and I'm just going to be talking about my career so far, going forward with MCW. I no longer wrestle for MCW as of I think last year because they don't really reach out to me much for bookings, but that's all right. I mean, they're doing their thing and I'm doing my thing, and I feel like I've been doing stuff the way that I wanted to do to continue to be successful. That I'm still, not just in the wrestling world, but in the gaming side of things too. I'm still making a name for myself, by getting signed by Malice Media, um, traveling the U.S., going from here to Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska, South Carolina, or not Carolina, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wisconsin, Missouri, Indiana. Hoping to make my Ohio debut and Pennsylvania debut sometime next year. I'm in talks with them right now, as well as hopefully Florida. And I want to say that I want to say because of the relationships that I've been making in the gaming world and realm of things. I'm sure you're familiar with the Resident Evil actors from the first game.
Which one? Oh, the Resident Evil. Um, Full disclosure: Chrome crashed on me while you were
Oh,
talking, which is why
oh,
I
okay,
disappeared for a moment, and then the video disappeared. The whole browser shut down. Thankfully, you kept going
right.
until I was able to come back, or it's like trying to figure out what the heck was going on. It's like, did I have an internet outage? No, the browser crashed. Anyway,
So the Resident Evil actors, Greg Smith, Eric Pirius, and Charlie Kraslovsky. When those guys got found in 2022, I believe, is when they started coming back out. Um, I noticed that Greg had made a fan page for Barry Burton,
Mhm.
and as soon as I found that out, I immediately went and liked his page, and I had no idea he's interacting with his fans. Like every single fan that is in that group, I'm sure has had some type of contact with Greg, and he also sends out autographs to his fans too. And I asked him if he would be able to sign my manual, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, just post it to me and pay for the postage back, and just not a problem." So that's what I did, and then I thanked him, and then from there on, I've made some posts in his group, and when he's made posts, I've commented on certain things that he would post about, and then I was like, "Hey, this wasn't in 2022 or 23. He made his page in 23, I believe, and then in 23 to 24, in 2023, when I started to talk to him a little bit more, I asked him, I was like, "Hey, would you ever consider about doing conventions?" And he was like, "Oh yes, of course." He was like, "I'm retired now, so I'll have more time to do that sort of thing." So I got in contact with Dan, who runs the Midwest Gaming Classic, and I'm like, "Hey, just to let you know, one of the Resident Evil guys wants to come visit the Midwest Gaming Classic for 2024." He was like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll talk business." And so they went back and forth, and they came to an agreement. And then,
Here comes you
lo and
counting the
behold,
fall.
oh,
That's you counting the fall. You
yep,
just grabbed a ref shirt and then jumped in the ring. And
yep. They're like, "Hey, is this legit?" And I said, "Yeah, it's legit." They rang the bell, and that's when
well,
dude right
yeah,
here grabs me, and he got confused. He was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm the champion of this place. You don't like it? Boom, stunner.
kick, wham,
Boom."
stunner.
This is awesome.
Uh,
Thank you for recording this.
so I recorded the whole weekend that weekend. So everything. So two
I'm
two
gonna take a
ninety nine
snapshot
through
of that.
30. Yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. Like I had no idea this footage existed. Like this is
I
lost to me.
lost media. Yeah, it's been up for it's been online for 4 years. So get on YouTube and do a search for subscribe to my channel.
I will.
tiny.cc/PWCI, and it's episode 299 through 303.
I definitely will. Thank you.
And there's that
Uh,
belt.
I love it.
I wish they
Now
had,
see,
after
go
this,
ahead.
Bruce City. So ACW just kind of disappeared. Oh, this was the Christmas episode. Yeah, it was Christmas that year, I guess. Anyway.
So
So ACW did that show. Then the following April, at the regularly scheduled time, no wrestling. Then Bruce City came in 2023
yep.
and last year too, but not this year. ACW came back, but I was under the impression that it closed down. So was I, or I heard that they went out of business, but now they came back into business. So what was going on with that?
I'm sure they've always been in business. As far as I've been a wrestler, I've been following their page. And I don't think they would ever go out of business because they got a bunch of people that have come out of that school, and they've got enough guys coming to do the shows for them, and it's ran by Swaggle. So I'm pretty sure, like as far as I know, to my knowledge, they've never closed down.
Okay. 2022 was skipped, so we go to 2023. You're defending the belt in the ring. In fact, think this was the first time I actually saw you wrestle, and now I gotta find the video again because Chrome just unloaded everything because it crashed. Can only keep all the videos up from the current until I close the window. But anyway, so my question is, why only 2 matches this year? I don't know if you answered that.
Well, I think I can't really honestly answer that. My only thing is the only thing that I can think of is that they like the promotions around Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, Missouri. You know, the places that I've wrestled at from before know about the stuff that I have been doing that isn't wrestling related, and
Mhm.
I'm not saying that this is happening. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself or trying to be like, oh well, I'm a bigger star than anybody.
For a triple.
Hang on.
Okay,
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
all good. And I'm not trying to say that I'm a bigger star than anybody because I'm not. I'm still green as all hell. But maybe it's because they don't want me to take any type of spotlight from their home guys or something like that.
That's
I'm
hard
not.
to believe because, like I said earlier, there are more promotions open now than there were a few years ago, and it's like now some places are having trouble getting talent. Well, certainly the women.
Yeah.
I
Well,
know.
if you know any promotions, send them my way, and I'll let them know I'm interested in coming. But
You can come to Springfield, Illinois, as far as I'm concerned, because for a time, because of drama, Springfield had to rebuild its promotion because of stupid little kids in another promotion stuck on their little wokeism and
oh,
carrying way more influence than they should because the adults around them were, I guess, afraid of the social media lynch mobs that they were commanding. Now, 2 years later, after that, they've lost a whole ton of influence and power because the normies reasserted themselves and kind of their bastions took a financial hit, which, you know, all the drama that was going on, the wokeness and stuff in the wrestling business, they're trying to integrate it. Now, a bunch of activists are trying to push wokeness into video games now. Well, they learned the hard way that the gamers don't want it, and they didn't buy what they were selling, and a bunch of studios shut down because they ran out of money or went dead broke. And there's been a few of those stinkers lately, and Concord seems to be, I guess, the Ishtar of video games or something.
mhm.
It only lasted 2 weeks before they shut that down, and that game was under development for like 5-10 years, and they sunk like $400 million into this, and it only
What
lasted
game was this?
Concord.
Okay, yeah, I've read about that and heard about it. Here's a funny story. So I can't say where I found it, but I actually came across, and this was about a month or two, well, maybe 3 months ago. Came across a factory sealed copy of Concord, and I couldn't believe my eyes because when I heard that all of the stores that had the copy of Concord took them and sent them back or sent them to the dump or whatever the heck, wherever they were supposed to dump them at. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is a piece of history because as soon as it got launched, it lasted like not even a month or two and it got shut down. And like you said, $400 million got put into the game. And I mean, now it's unplayable.
Yeah, it is. What a shock. I have always wondered what the ET game was going to be, the modern era game for an ET being buried in a land dump would be, and thought, this has to be it. I made a picture if I can find it real quick, but ugh. Oh, good grief! I thought I deleted those pictures off my Facebook group. Oh, I'm not gonna find it. Not gonna find it quick enough. Anyway, I took a picture of. Yeah, it's not gonna be here. I took a picture of the ET dump and post a copy of Concord over top the ET box to simulate it being in the dump or being dug out or excavated or whatever decades from now. But jeez, yeah. And there's been a few more stinkers that have come out since then, and several more studios have closed as a result. But anyway,
Well, I
I guess.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like that there is a possible reason why I don't want to like really get into it too much, but it could be a possibility too. So back in 2022, I want to say around September, um, my home promotion, which is based out of Des Moines, uh, I shared a post because it hit home with me, and I've known people that have gone through this that have been falsely accused of. I'm not going to say the R word. I'll say grape, as in grapes that you eat.
Mhm.
And when I see posts like certain posts like that, it just fucking hits home. I don't know if I'm supposed to swear. I'm sorry, but it hits home to me because I've known people that have been falsely accused of it. And I myself have been falsely accused of it as well, that I've proved my innocence because I decided to date. I don't have the greatest taste in women, so I kind of just, ever since I started wrestling, I kind of pushed myself away from the dating world a bit.
Yeah.
But um, but because of that, made a post and threw my 2 cents in with this post that deals with one of the Backstreet Boys and a fan that supposedly happened 21, 22 at the time, 21 to 22 years ago. Now it's like maybe 25, 26 years ago. Um, about being, you know, and
It's not
I
whatever you tell me. It's not going to surprise me one bit because
okay.
we have. I don't know if you know Michael Elgin. Well, there was a 4-year saga with that where a grifter, uh, who I guess was on welfare and having a lot of surgeries that weren't exactly necessary,
Yeah.
uh, was falsely accused or claiming things about other talent. Well, she was not a fine, outstanding young citizen and engaging in misconduct and going places where she shouldn't have been going, and then getting into duff stuffs with other wrestlers' girlfriends and getting into fisticuffs occasionally.
Oh,
Well, yes. What I really Yeah, so this was the whole speaking out movement, and a lot of focus got put on Michael Elgin, and I was one of the few to go looking into because the media says one story. Well, I decided to go dig around through the other side of the story, and then contradictions and started showing up. Some of her past statements didn't exactly square with her current ones, and then it was pretty much determined she was not being fully honest.
hmm
And finally, it ended up in court because she tried to get a restraining order and she ended up losing because Elgin tried to sue her and she kept dodging court. She refused to show up for court
right.
to get under oath and face cross examination. And finally, the one time that she finally got cross examined, it didn't exactly go very well for her, and she lost. And then the Then she tried to go into the tattoo industry and then pull the same grift over there. Well, that didn't go anywhere, thank goodness. It didn't last very long, and she kind of got run out. And then she finally got off social media, where we haven't had to hear this grifter ever since. But I am a big believer in due process in the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution, and people don't want to use the courtroom. They want to use the court of public opinion to substitute for an actual court of law, and that is a kangaroo court. People, it doesn't matter to these people if even if you get acquitted or found not guilty or whatever, or no state's attorney was willing to file charges, or they cleared you of an investigation. They don't care.
Nope.
They have in their mind that you're guilty as hell, but they won't pick up the telephone and call the state's attorney of wherever state or county the alleged act that they think is a slam dunk or they're guilty as hell of. They won't do it.
No. I mean,
And then
in
they
this day and
punish
age,
innocent people.
in this day and age, you're guilty until proven innocent, and even though you're proven innocent, you're still guilty. And I think that's kind of I don't know what do I want to say. It's kind of like,
Well, it seems like we have to sue every person who makes a false accusation and make them go under oath in court, and then they have to choose: do I lie do I show how ignorant I am and how little I actually know, and then have to pay out a cash settlement, or do I lie and then go to jail for
right.
perjury?
I think the way that it should be, and this is something that I would definitely vote for, whether it be either a Republican or Democrat that does this, is that anybody that wants to accuse somebody of doing something that they actually didn't do, and they go move forward with said accusations, and it
Mhm.
turns out to be false, the punishment should be equal, if not greater, than what the original punishment would be if it turned out if that person did do whatever they were accused of. Because
Yeah.
it's not fair to bring somebody into court, waste the judge's time to do all of this in court, especially if it goes to trial, bringing in even more people and wasting their time just to find out that this person was being falsely accused. That's, in my opinion, a bunch of BS, and that person should also be punished equally,
Yeah.
if not greater, because that should be against the law. That should be something that should be illegal, but it's not.
And
But
I will say there has been multiple high profile cases, defamation cases, where the plaintiff did win against the defendant who made claims that did not match up with the truth or facts, and had to pay out a significant cash settlement. So, like Billy Mitchell sued Carl Jobs over in Australia because he claimed he caused Apollo legend to take his life. Well, Carl Jobs had to pay out um, tens of millions of dollars, or multiple millions of dollars. Because no, it's not multiple millions, but it was a very high
a lot of
dollar
money,
amount.
a lot of
Yeah,
money, yeah.
I don't know how much, but it's a lot of money in Australian dollars.
Right. See, I'm the type of person too that if I don't let things get to me. I mean, if you don't like me, I really don't care. If you do like me, awesome. I treat people with respect and kindness as long as I'm treated with respect and kindness as well. Um, but like, if somebody goes online and says, "Hey, Johnny Cash sucks. He does this, he does that wrong," it is what it is, man. Everybody has their opinions, and I don't let it affect me the way that it probably would other people. In my opinion, and this is something that Eric Bischoff taught me,
Mm-hmm.
is that whether you're doing something good or you're doing something bad and it's being talked about, then you're doing it right.
Yep.
Because I'm getting my name out there. My name is coming out of their mouths and they're the ones that are spreading the name around for me. Whether it's good or bad, they're going to know about me, and
Mhm.
that's what Eric Bischoff helped me see. So this is going to go back to my post that I made about one of the Backstreet Boys doing stuff with this fan back in like 99 or 2000. And I shared the post, and this is the first time I'm actually talking about everything that about this post. So I made the post and I wrote on there, I think this is, and this is around the time where the Me Too movement was going on as well. And I made a post on there saying, I don't believe one bit of word of it, because if you think about it, back in the 90s, in the early or late 90s, early 2000s, girls and women were screaming their lungs off at, like, if they were at a concert with the Backstreet Boys. They were like, I want to say they were close to it, if not at the same level as Ozzy Osbourne,
Mhm.
or the Beatles.
Yeah.
And every chick that I went to high school, every chick that I went to grade school with would always do nothing but talk about the Backstreet Boys, and I didn't really care too much about it because I was playing my Game Boy and trading Pokemon cards. But that's all they ever talked about. And I said that it's every girl's dream or woman's dream from back in the day to be with one of these guys. And there was a guy, I'm not going to mention names, but there was a wrestler that's in the business. He's kind of young. He saw that and he wrote, "It's nobody's dream to be great." And I'm
Nobody's
like,
dream to be
well,
great.
he said, nobody dreams to be great.
Great.
And yes, and I'm like, um, you should definitely go back and read my post and then leave a comment. By the time I left that comment, I had three more comments by two other guys in the business that followed up, backing up his comment. And by the time I knew it, I had personal messages sent to me by other talent from my home base, from my home wrestling base, messaging me saying, "Don't ever talk to me again, blah, blah, blah. You're a piece of shit. You're going to get canceled." And all I did was just send a laughing emoji. That's what I didn't respond or anything, let everything be. That's when I made the decision to get a hold of my trainers to let them know, hey, there's some bullshit going around. I don't want to be a part of it. I'm not about drama. I don't want that in my life. I'm done. So I left IPW because of that on my own terms. And ever since, like, I've been trying to, get some training elsewhere, and I have been successful here and there. I'm hoping to find a new home base, and I think that that's going to happen this year. And I won't probably ever go back to that place again. But in Iowa, if you're not SCW, if you're not Seth Rollins promotion, the majority of other wrestling promotions that are in Iowa came out of Impact Pro, the same place that I graduated from. If one thing gets said or done there that one person doesn't like, then you're blacklisted from all the other promotions. Now, this is coming from my own experience. I'm not saying this. I'm just assuming this is what happens when you do or say something, because I haven't talked to really anybody about wrestling for them since 2022. And I've also been told that um, like a certain promotion that's really close to Dubuque um, never wants me to wrestle for them because of what was said in 2022. And I don't
I
really
bet I
care
know
about.
who it is. I bet I know who it might be. And they probably have ties to the St. Louis area too.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
And
But
it wouldn't surprise me one bit because these same jokers came after me as well because I had an
oh,
opinion. And of course, unfortunately for them, Riley Gaines won the war. So and they've lost a lot of influence because it ain't 2023 anymore. It's now 2025. Your situation started in 22, but it's close enough.
Mm-hmm.
They
But
don't have the influence that they used to, and they're pissed, and they shouldn't. Go ahead.
yeah. But I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, I probably I probably won't wrestle in Iowa again unless there's a promotion called ECPW or a promotion from Illinois that I know and have wrestled for in the past comes to Iowa. But other than that, I don't want to have anything to do with most of the promotions in Iowa just because um, of the negativity that some of the people have expressed towards me.
It
It's
wouldn't
not the
be
person.
just negativity. I would call it toxic narcissism or
Toxicity, yeah, I think would be better. Yes.
poisonous narcissism. There's several poisonous narcissists in the business, and they're hurting. You know, they want they think the wrestling business is a safe space for them. No, it never has been.
And
It
that's the thing about it. I mean, if wrestling has never really been a safe space because once it became a safe space, that took away from the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because now the bad guys have to walk around acting like they're second or third graders, and then they really have to cut back on what they're supposed to do and it's their job to walk up to somebody and want to fight them and get in their face and yell and call them cowards and all this stuff and make fun of them and call them like if there's an overweight fan, you look at them and be like, yeah, I would tell you to come up into this ring and fight me like a man, but you're too fat and lazy to do that. You can't do that now because you'll get canceled. I honestly,
I don't even like
I
that term. I prefer the canceled. No, the reason why they use the word canceled is because they think the term blackball is racist.
uh, but anyway, I like to think that I'm real, like I'm legit, and I think that's probably, I don't know for sure, but I think that's probably why the way that I present myself may turn some people off about me. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm genuine. I like to be genuine.
Yeah.
If I don't like something, I'll say it. If I do like something, I'll say it. If
Yeah.
I go out to the ring as a bad guy, I'm gonna be a bad guy. I'm not gonna like go over the edge and be, whatever it is that whatever, like some people claim that other guys are, like an MJF, like talk about school shootings or race or religion or
Yeah. How did
etc.
he get away with that rhetoric
I
and
don't
not
know.
get blackballed from the business? And then
That's beyond me.
he throws a fit because fans are like using stuff that is kind of any making comments that are a little anti-Semitic or at least anti-Semitic slurs. But he was kind of for so long going way beyond the line. So how's he? So he's upset by this, but he's been doing this all this time. Come on.
Right, right. Like I said, I really don't let anything bother me too much, especially in the wrestling business. Like if people think I suck or if they think I'm overweight or if I'm wrestling, and I've had this happen to me before while I was performing. A fan pointed out, I could see your underwear, because my string came undone on my tights. And I noticed it when I heard that fan say that, and I'm like, oh crap, maybe they can see me. But I didn't care. I was tightened it while I was down, while I was acting like I was hurt, and I was good. If people out there think that I can't wrestle, that's your opinion. I've been told otherwise by former world champions in the WWE and TNA, Austin Aries and um, Jeff Hardy. He actually made I think a post about me a couple of years ago, shouting me out. And at that moment, I was just blown away because Jeff Hardy is my idol ever since I was about 10 years old, 10 or 11.
Yeah, here's your ring entrance. This was from 23. This was,
Oh
I
wait,
believe,
I
this is
did
the
have a
opener.
heel. Yeah, that this is when I was a heel. So I was a heel up at BCW.
This was 2023, April the 1st. This is your belt was not on the line. Somebody else's belt was on the line, but you wrestled later that day, and I had that match loaded up before my browser crashed on me. But there you are
Okay.
with the gamer belt. I'll kind of fast
Yep.
forward into the match itself because I'll let the I'll let the viewers decide if you can wrestle or not.
Well,
I'm
this
just
was about 2 years. I want to say 2 years after I graduated. So I still had probably about maybe 15, 20 matches under my belt. Ethan Matthews is great, man. Chucky is awesome. I don't think he likes me that much. I'm not saying that that's true. It's just the way that he comes off sometimes. But I think he's a great guy, inside and outside of the ring. He gives great critique, and that's something that most people don't do in the wrestling business. Is they'll pull you aside and be like, "Hey, work on this, work on that. This is what you need to do. I saw your punches out there. Kind of lean into it a little bit more, etc." And I really do appreciate when the guys actually take the time to watch my match and to let me know about that. Um, I want to say probably about
go.
20% of guys at shows will do that. There have been times too where nobody talks to me and nobody says anything to me about, what I need to work on, what I could improve on. I'm always looking to get better. I'm always looking to improve my skill set. And I believe that has a lot to do with, training, continuously training every week. Now, since I left IPW and I had no more home promotion, I have trained myself for the last 3 years, 3 to 3.5 years, at my workplace's gym, and they've allowed me to use a couple of their foam mattresses. It's not a mattress. It's like, well, I guess it is. I mean, it's like really,
Crash
it's kind of
pad.
like a crash pad. Yeah, there we go, crash pad. So that's what it's kind of like because it's like nothing but foam, and they've got enough room down there for me to, to do my rolls, to do my flips, to jump off of stuff and land on, etc. So I've been doing that all on my own. I don't really have anybody here. Well, I do, but they have their own promotions they go to. They're from Seth Rollins' promotion. Um, but
Black and the Brave.
yeah, the Black and Brave SCW. But
Scott, Scott County Wrestling, which is the original name, but now they changed it to SCW Pro and don't even mention Scott County, but whatever. Uh, and he's got you in a.
that actually hurt because when he pulls back and hits my chest, you can actually see him like pull back before he goes down. Boom. That's when I'm like, dude, this hurts. But that's the thing, man. You got to be able to take some of this stuff. Yes, it's fake. The punches are fake. The chops are real. The kicks are real. You have to learn how to take all of this stuff. The people when I have people come up to me and say, "Well, yeah, all you do is fake fight," I invite them to come to a show to climb the top rope and to do a flipping, like a swanton bomb, land on your back, and you can tell me whether or not that's fake.
I've done some stupid stuff and hurt myself. It doesn't take much. I like tried a little skit where I was like dropping an elbow on a campaign sign because he lost an election, and my whole body got really sore the next day. Um, I did some incredibly stupid thing where I was because we had a training school down in Springfield. Well, actually Auburn. There was a crash pad, and I was like, I decided to stupidly try to do a dive out from the ring into the crash pad. Well, I hit the side of the ring with my shin, and it hurt like hell, and had to go to prompt care to get 800 milligrams of ibuprofen because it bruised from the shin all the way down to the ankle. And plus, it made it. And until I got that medication in, oh gosh, touching a hair on my leg hurt like hell. And that is
Oh yeah.
literally. I don't know how the wrestlers endure so much pain. I'd rather just run around ringside with the camera and just capture the action, not get involved in the action. Although one person I would like to make an exception for. And looks like, oh, we got a double, or he's going to try to do something here.
Yeah, I remember this.
I don't know if he's trying to. What is. I can't even see what he's doing because the ref's in the way, and I kind of had to.
That was some type of like, I don't know. This is the first time I've ever took this, and
looks like a double octopus to me.
When they do moves like that involves the ropes, it really does hurt because you got the metal. I mean, the ropes are they got like rubber around them or tape.
Yeah,
I believe it's tape. Sometimes it's rubber, sometimes it's plastic, but I think this was tape. And I mean, it's metal, like being pushed against your back when you're being held in a move like that, and it really does hurt.
Garden hose or with steel cable embedded inside, and yes, there's ring tape around the ropes. Rarely do you have actual rope because it may not hold up like a steel cable would. The turnbuckle may come undone. Looks like we're about to the end of this match. Yep, he just gets the 3 count here. And 1, 2, 3, boom. Ethan Matthews retains his title, whatever it was at the time. I think it was the Heritage. That was that match, but I have something else.
I had fun with that. I gotta say, like, if ACW does come back, I hope they come back more prepared this time. BCW, Frankie's promotion, like he's phenomenal. He's always prepared for these shows, and he always includes me in on everything. There was one time back in 2023, I believe, which was the show that we watched. So here's
hold on. Shoot, sorry. This thing, I can't mute it when I load it, and I have these all preloaded. Anyway, go ahead.
So here's the funny thing. So in 2023, when Frankie made his debut at the Midwest Gaming Classic, excuse me,
Frankie DeFalco.
Correct.
Who I know. By the way, I gotta flash back to that at some point because early on, for the early years of the convention, I have to tell you some history. So go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So at this show that's going on right now, 2 minutes. No, not 2 minutes. I think 1 minute before they started doing the national anthem, I was trying to figure out. I knew about the matches, but I didn't know about what was going on if I was a face or a heel. And I was talking to Chucky about this, and he was like, "Well, me and you are heels, but I'll go talk to Frankie to make sure that's what the deal is." And I'm like, "Okay," but on my way from my hotel to here, I was high-fiving everybody, taking pictures with kids and adults. Like these guys treat me like I'm a celebrity every single year. I come up there, and I'm more appreciative than they know.
Well, you got a belt around your waist. And it's the Midwest Gaming Convention belt. Which I haven't pulled these out yet. This is one of my belts. This is a Pinball Expo belt. The last one they did. Yes. This is the Galloping Ghost Arcade Pinball Expo tile. This is the last one they did. They didn't do one in 24. I don't know if they're going to do one in 25 because I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to defend this last year and I didn't get to.
So at the last minute, he comes back as the they're playing the anthem, the national anthem, and he's like, "Yeah, it's your heel," and I'm like, "Fuck, man, I don't want to be a heel, but I guess I have to." I'm not gonna disappoint Frankie or anybody else that came there to see the wrestling. So I'm like, all right. I took a couple of deep breaths and tried coming up with something that Johnny Cass would do if he was a heel. And the only thing I can think of is Dr. Robotnik and Bowser. And I was like, all right, so I'll just do the typical bad guy stuff. Tell everybody I'm better than them. They're there because of me. I brought you all here because I'm the champion. If I lose this belt, you guys wouldn't come here to see wrestling anymore.
Right.
So that was my thought process when I was doing these matches. As you can see, I'm like, I can't hear anybody. I can't hear anybody but myself. I'm going to win this match, yada yada. And yeah, I had fun. I had fun with it. Frankie actually gave me the opportunity to be a heel for the first time in my career. So I got that experience at the Midwest Gaming Classic, which I also claim as the hometown of Johnny Cass. I now claim Milwaukee, Wisconsin as the hometown for Johnny Cass.
Now you're taking on right here a guy named Lou Azur.
Yes.
Which after this match, I told him he needs to change his name to Lose or Win. Loser win or something, because he doesn't always lose. He actually might win once in a while, and we'll let this match play out, and then you can find out what happened.
Funny thing, in this match, when he gets me into the middle of the ring and he does the body shots and he turns around, he actually straight up clocked me in my ear. I did not expect that. And like when I went down and he went for the cover, and I told him, I was like, dude, you shot punched me in my face. So he knew he had a receipt coming, and he took it like a champ in the triple threat match that I had with him and Armando. But that's the business. If somebody shoot punches me or I shoot punch them, I'm gonna expect to get a receipt back with that. But I had fun with this either way. It was a great time. Anytime I get to wrestle at Midwest Gaming Classic, it's my WrestleMania match. It's my personal WrestleMania.
So let's go back to early history of the Midwest Gaming. How many years have you gone to this convention? Whether as a fan or a celebrity?
I started going there in 2019. That was the first time I went. And before I went, I was kind of hesitant because I was talking with Dan. I was trying to get him to explain to me why it's like $175 for a VIG ticket just to get early access. I was like, is this just to get early access inside of the building or what? I guess I didn't read the fine print at first, but he explained to me in an email like, oh well, it's more than that. There's an after party. You get a free drink. You get NES game as a badge. He was like, I'll tell you what, come out and try it and see if you like it for yourself. Even if you want to just come for a day, just come out. And I was like, all right, we'll see. I've never even knew that about the Midwest Gaming Classic until I found out about it in 2019. And before that, I was a part of the Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas, where I placed third in the Nintendo World Championship 2012 tournament down there. And then Portland Retro Gaming Expo in 2013. And also Grassroots Gaming Expo in Ottumwa, Iowa. And after that, I haven't gone to any type of events like that for years until 2019. And Dan convinced me to give this a try. And then ever since I did, I went in with absolutely no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the after party. I signed up for that tournament to become the first crowned Midwest Gaming Classic champion, and I actually won it.
What game was it?
And WCW NWO Revenge.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Um, I would have entered it if I was practiced, but I haven't played those doggone wrestling games, and the time that I did enter one of those, Hornswoggle won it. He, gosh, a couple of years ago, no, it's 22 or no, 21. He entered WWE. It was a Royal Rumble match, and on the game, and he won a Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yep. Here's a tidbit about that. So when they were having that tournament, I think it was 2022.
No, it's 21.
21. Okay, 2021. When they were having the tournament, they didn't have anything for a prize, and I had an extra boxed NES lying around, and I'm like, I got to get back to these guys for what they've done to me, for all that they've done for me. And I'm like, let me see if Dan would possibly want to use this as an incentive for people to enter the tournament. And he was more than happy to, and he, thanked me, and then I believe I was talking with Matt about this as well, and he was appreciative too. And I had to tell Dylan Hornswoggle that it had a brand new pin connector in, so when he would put games inside of the system, it's going to be kind of like a tight fit. But yeah, I brought that NES system there for whoever won that tournament.
And he had never owned an NES, he said. He had never owned.
Man.
So going back to the Midwest Gaming, the early years. So I have a 21 year streak going. I started in 2004. It was the first one, and I've gone 21 conventions in a row. This is the last one was 21. Back then, the convention was first at Brookfield, Wisconsin, at the Sheridan, and then it moved over to Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, at a hotel that had a ski slope or something, which was closed because it was like June. Well, ran up on a Friday. Basically, they're setting up. There isn't a Friday night thing, and look at this. Loser won the match. I guess he's not a loser anymore. He's a winner or something or matter. So he won the belt at this point. Yeah, and then I was like countered him like the next day with the belt. Ugh. And you were not happy either. It's like, well, crap, I have to win the belt tomorrow, else he's going to have the belt the entire year, and I have to wait a year before I can win it back. Assuming he's even employed with the promotion. I don't know if he's even still wrestling. This guy.
I don't know if he is or not. I haven't heard anything about him since. But that night, I was so upset with myself that in my hotel room, I was hell bent on doing this. I did 263 sit-ups until I was tired and wanted to go to sleep. And I counted to 263.
Look at that guy taking a selfie in the corner. Yeah, he was the same guy that showed up at the doggone the year that the belt actually made its debut. So,
yep.
Yeah, I recognized him anyway. But going back to 04 or 05.
Yeah.
Friday night, there was nothing to do because you couldn't go run around and play games on the floor because they're still setting everything up. And it was not open to the public, and they kind of shoot us out. And the early arrivers, and so you had to find something to do on a Friday night. I actually drove over and attended Brew City the first year. Yeah, come full circle. 2004, attended a Brew City wrestling show. Uh, got physical with somebody because he kind of like did something I didn't expect, and then I like threw a fit because like, why are you putting your hands on me, wrestler? It was some wrestler was doing a bowler gimmick, and it was like he actually had to run out and apologize to me later, but I was like not throwing a fit. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Because I was
Yeah,
also I guess misjudged because he had like did with someone else and thought I was that type of fan, and then because I hold a sign that said gutter ball, and it's like he took the sign and then tried to stuff it down my shirt, and it was like jumped down my chair and it's like threw my hands up and started yelling at him, what the he apologized because he realized he messed up. Anyway.
yeah, that's one thing I'll never do is put my hands on a fan, or unless they're feeling froggy, and I've done this before. Unless they're feeling froggy and they want to jump the ring, then it's all hands on deck. That's what I was taught in the business. That if someone is stupid enough to jump the ring, then it's all hands on deck. Because I don't know if they have a weapon, I don't know if they have a knife, a gun, or a sharp
Yeah.
object. Then yeah, it's I'm gonna put my fist in your face as many times as possible until you exit out of the ring. Um,
If I realize what is going on, because I, as a cameraman, have moved to intercept somebody maybe getting a little overzealous. One time,
yeah,
it was like somebody was actually in the ring and did a move to somebody. As like I realized who it was, and I freaked like, "What the heck!" And
it's
it was a deaf super fan who I guess was jumping the ring to help. Thought he was helping somebody. Was like, yeah, I was in shock at that point. That's a story in itself, but you know,
yeah. Like I've only ever had that happen once in my career, and I'm hoping that it never does happen. But you never know; anything is possible in the wrestling business, and I protect my brothers and sisters from any and all fans, especially the creepy ones out there that want to, even if they're taking like pictures when they're bent over or whatever, that I'll have a problem with because it's like, bro, you're there to watch wrestling, man. Like some of the women there, yeah, they're hot, but at the same time, they're there to put on a show for you, not just for you, but everybody else that paid their hard-earned money to come watch a wrestling show. And I mean, if you want to picture with them or something or whatever, like go up to their table after the show or during intermission and
yeah,
then talk with them. I
yeah,
mean, it never hurts just to wait a little bit.
yeah,
Um, but other than that, I've never really had any bad experiences. I mean, what I like to do is when I'm a bad guy, and I've experienced this at PWX back before they closed down, and I was a bad guy for about a month. Is that when I am a heel, I will be as interactive with the fans, more interactive with the fans than I am when I'm a face,
mm,
because that's what's gonna make them talk about me. So during my match, I was in a fatal four-way tag team match, and the I was with the faction called the Syndicate,
mm,
but management paired me up with this other guy, and the Syndicate was on the other side. Anybody can make a tag to whoever they want because it was like a free for all tag match. And I'm
right,
like, all right, well, I'm going to make this work, even though it doesn't really make that much sense. And I told my partner that, hey, when I'm in the ring, I'm going to constantly tag in, the syndicate. And I want you at some point to grab me and be like, what the hell are you doing? This is me and you. This is about us, not them. And he did that. And then I turned around and then I got, what do you call it? I got German suplexed all the way. I'm telling you, this is the first time I've ever taken this move too, and live in front of people. I've taken it, in practice, but I didn't realize the momentum that this guy had, and he grabbed me, and I was at the corner of the ring where my partner was. He grabbed me, my opponent, and lifted me up and threw me all the way across as I'm flying back to the other side of the corner of the ring. Like I'm like shocked, and I'm like, okay, I'm all right, but I gotta stay here for a minute. I'm okay. And then I tagged out real quick, and I rolled out. I was like, holy crap, that was really cool. I hope somebody recorded that. And then everybody was booing around me, telling me to get away from them. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm not gonna get away from you. So I'm like walking around, man, my neck hurts so bad. I got to sit down. So I crawled over the barricade and I sat down in the front row next to these people that didn't like me. And they were calling me cowards. So they were calling me a coward the whole time to get away from them. They don't like me. They started uh, chanting Johnny Kiss Ass and not Johnny Cass. So I am like,
Wow, you're giving me ideas here.
I'm trying my hardest not to laugh like I'm breaking up on the inside. I'm crying. But on the outside, I'm like, what are you doing? You guys don't understand. You guys don't understand me. You don't understand them. And then I finally got thrown over back over the barricade, thrown into the ring, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. If you want to see the match, I'm sure it's on YouTube. But it was a fun match. I had a blast doing, and it sucks because I only got to be a heel for a month with PWX.
Mhm.
Even though the promotion was kind of going under, it was sinking. It was,
Yeah.
but I had fun near the end of it because I got to experiment. What it was like to be a heel, what it was like working with guys like Nick, Nasty Nick Nolan,
Hmm.
um, Kings of Insanity, Joey, and I'm sorry I can't remember the other guy's name. I haven't seen him in a while or talked to him in a while. But A and B, he's talented. Um, just a bunch of guys there that I haven't even seen in a while that I had a lot of fun with, and I hope to see in the future. But for now, like I'm not sure if anybody's like seeing my post or whatnot, but I decided to take a break for the summer, just because I haven't really been booked, and my last two bookings got canceled. And that's when I decided to scrap my ideas for now. Um, but I do plan on posting a very, very interesting promo video this coming week, and it does relate to the Midwest Gaming Classic. So, fans of the Midwest Gaming Classic, stay tuned.
All right, we haven't really talked gaming so much in this thing. Grab my other belt. Ah, so I need to hear about your gaming exploits before we continue. I will show this in a minute when it comes up. Um,
Okay.
what was the hook in the gaming? What was the game that got you hooked into gaming besides the wrestling stuff? I know you were a wrestler. You were interested in wrestling at 4 years old because I watched an interview you did last year before this pod to see what he covered and try to cover different ground for this pod.
Okay. Pretty much, I believe this is like the standard when it comes to what got me into gaming, and I came from the era of the NES and um, Super Nintendo. The earliest console I remember playing though was the Atari 2600.
Mine.
But I have more memories with the Nintendo and Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis than I do with the Atari, just because um, that's pretty much what I was brought up playing, and it has to do with like the colors, the flashing lights, the sounds, moving the character, and then having the Super Nintendo being passed down to us from my family, from our older brothers when the next system came out, and then actually because this is back in like 95, 96 maybe.
Okay.
Like I would have been 7 or 8 at the time, and to me, playing the Super Nintendo on a CRT TV in 95 to 96 was like the best way to describe this would be like I'm actually playing a live cartoon on TV.
Yeah.
And what kid does not think that that's cool? Like I'm think that was my thought process, and it's like I get to be Mario. That's my escape from my own realities that I was dealing with, whether it was at my home life or my school life, and that just drew me in from there. And then I heard about Star Fox. Then I heard about Donkey Kong Country. Then I heard about Rock and Roll Racing and F Zero. You know, games like that. It just captivated me, and it was like, man, there's so many great stuff for this. And it actually kind of made me want to have something to do in the gaming business in the future too. So I've always had this mindset whether it's going to be wrestling or it's going to be gaming. That's what I want to do when I get older. And I am very, very grateful, thankful, humbled, and blessed to say that I get to do both.
Although now, gosh, I'm gonna have to throw this up here now because let me put this on mute. You said watching a cartoon. Yeah, well, I have to throw this up here because now one of the most recent fighting games that have come out. Good grief, where's my win? There we go. This! It's pretty much watching a cartoon, well, watching an anime series for one, because this is actual gameplay here. Oh, I gotta jump it. I mean,
Yeah,
it
didn't
might as
didn't
well be
Dragon
a cartoon, but this is a Guilty Gear Strive.
didn't Dragon Ball or Fighter Z or whatever that game's called have the same engine or something of the sort?
Probably.
I'm sure it did because when I remember playing that for the first time and I was like really amazed because I was like, man, this is like playing the actual anime. It's crazy.
Well, then it goes into a like you do a punish move, and then it goes into a cutscene, and all the HUDs disappear, and then they do their special move on their opponent. It's like, and then they do their finisher on their opponent, and it's another scene from television or whatever. It
I really
doesn't
wish
really. Go ahead.
I really wish Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat would take notes on this type of engine because I think that would be super freaking cool.
Mortal Kombat would be, oh boy, the gore and the violence in the recent Mortal Kombat's it's gotten so over the top. It's just like you're just turning people into meat or running people through meat grinders. And like, good grief,
That's
what's
the
that?
thing. That's the problem that the only problem I have with Mortal Kombat. So we go from one, two, three, and four to being kind of like, realistic, as in like, okay, you got your punch, your kick, your kind of special moves, whatever, and then the fatality. But now they have this trigger button where if you hit it, you do all these moves, and then you have like the spear that goes that gets shot up from underneath your chin and exit out of the back of your head, and you get pulled with it, and then he brings you down, and then you crack your neck or break your neck, and then he lifts you up, and then does another move, and then boom, and then you get up from it. You're
Yeah,
not supposed to get up from moves like that. You are not supposed to. I'm thinking to myself, what have they done? They're like they've lost the aspect of fighting games for me. I mean, ever since that happened, I mean, yeah, they're cool and all, to see, but at the same time, that's not realistic to me.
no, it's like they're doing moves mid match that should be a fatality in itself.
Yeah.
And they're using knives, swords, and guns and bazookas, and like this is This is not more. This is not a martial arts contest. This is like a gunfight or a knife fight. Anyway,
You're a
I,
fan of fighting games, right?
uh, I'm okay, but I'm no. I cannot hang with those people at Combo Breaker.
I was going to ask, what is your honest opinion on MVC Infinite?
MVC Infinite. Well,
Infinite, yeah. Marvel
Marvel
versus
versus.
Capcom Infinite, yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't played it, but I have to practice MVC 2 for next weekend. Which brings me to my next. You didn't even mention what game was the hook. What was your
The-
first video game that you ever played that got you into gaming? Mine is Space Invaders.
Okay.
Do you
So
remember
what
what
got
yours is?
me, yes, I do. I remember the exact moment too. I played Mario at this point, and I
Okay.
thought Mario was a fun game. And then I came across this game called Air Fortress.
Okay.
Air Fortress is more of like a story-based, side-scrolling video game. And when you pop in Air Fortress, you have these flashing lights going into like a fortress zone, and then comes across the screen Air Fortress, and um,
This up here.
it has a story that scrolls up, and you read about this character. And I'm learning about it, and I'm like, okay, well, let's give this a shot. And you go into it, and it's like 8 different fortresses. Yep. This is my favorite game of all time, still to this day. And I still have not beat it because it's so hard. Um, there's a story.
You
And
didn't use
then
a
you
cheat
go,
code or a game genie to do it?
no, I didn't.
Go ahead.
So the farthest I've gotten was I have gotten all the way to, I believe, the 8th fortress, but then I came close to beating it, but I just ran out of time. And I remember spending all that time trying to get to where I was just to fail, by a few seconds. And I'm like, I will try it again eventually and I will beat it. I just don't have the time right now. But this game is the one that helped me accept, challenging aspects of life and, as well as, video games and whatnot. I mean, stuff's going to be hard at times, but it's okay to take a step back or a break and then come back to it. And this is the game that actually taught me as well as for patience. And you have to remember, and this is the thing too. There were no strategy guides for this game back then at all. Maybe a mention here or there in a gaming magazine, but that's about it.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of Section Z, which is an arcade game.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it is a Capcom game. I'll tell you that much. I mean, there is a Section Z game for the NES, but it doesn't have all the features of the arcade game. But this is an interesting choice for the game that hooked you. Um, gosh, what
Yeah,
were your? So you talked about, I guess, the tournament at Midwest Gaming Classic. You kind of mentioned a few others. Well, I guess you did answer the gaming feats question, but so let's ask you this: the creation of the physical title belt. How did that come about?
that came about after I won the championship in 2019, and Eric Bischoff came up, presented me the belt, shook my hand, said congratulations. Um, and then Arda O'Call went on to the speaker system throughout the whole Milwaukee Center. I think it was, or the Wisconsin Center, it was called at the time. Now it's the Barrett
Yeah.
Center.
Yep.
Announced me as the winner, and I got to do that on the same stage that Crush 40 was on. And
Dang, I
everybody
missed
went
that.
nuts.
I think
and
I was
it,
somewhere else in the convent and down that evening. I mean, there's a
yeah,
lot going on. There always is. It's fastest 48
and
hours of the year.
yeah, and it was really cool because I went up to the gate, jumped on top of it, and held the belt up high, and everyone's like, "Yeah," clapping their hands, cheering, and everything. And I'm like, "This is what it feels like, man. I got to feel this again." So I went up to Eric before he left that night, and I was like, "Hey, what's your opinion on somebody like me who's 30 years old wants to try out for wrestling?" And he put his hand on my left shoulder, and he was like, "If you think you got what it takes, and your body can handle it, go for it." Look at Diamond Dallas Page. He was 41 years old when he started wrestling for WCW. And he was like, "You can do anything you want to do as long as you know or think you can do it."
Right.
He's like, "Never be afraid to try something. At least you went for it." And that stuck with me. And I was like, all right, well, first I want to get uh, a replica belt made for myself to commemorate my win in 2019. So I got the replica made, and I got the okay from management to do that.
Dan Lucen.
And yep, Dan Lucen, and everyone, pretty much he got the okay from it. I think he asked a few people too because he's like co-owner, I think, of the Midwest
Oh
Game
yeah,
Classic.
he's the head honcho. I know him.
Okay,
I know him too well.
so
Sort of. I need to have him on my
so
pod, by the way.
yes, that would be awesome. Let me know when you get him. I'm following your
If I
page, by the way.
can. If I can. That's the thing. I could have
Right.
imposter syndrome and may not be able to get him.
So I got the okay from him. The belt was made, and I received it as I started getting prepared to train for wrestling, and I had everything going for me once. Um, for I believe it was October of 21. Yeah, October 2021. But in August, I think it was, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. But regardless, the belt was made, and I wanted to do something with it now that I'm
Right.
wrestling. And then in I believe it was 2020. I
It
can't I can't
the
remember.
timeline is a little difficult. Let's assume 2021 was the year that the belt made its debut
Yes.
at that convention, and then you defended it afterward. I was trying to
Yep.
find a photograph of me holding the title belt, and it's like I had to go much further back than I thought on my phone until I did find it, and then I posted it somewhere.
I ended up bringing the championship belt with me to AEW,
Mhm.
and I got an opportunity to um, get my picture taken in front of the AEW ring.
Mhm.
Excuse me, while holding the real AEW World Championship on the other shoulder.
Right.
And I told Dan about that, and he was like, "No way, you gotta send me that picture to check it out." Well, I'm surprised that they have not shared this yet on their page. As to my knowledge, I don't think they have. But I was able to get my picture taken with the championship on one shoulder from the Midwest Gaming Classic and the AEW World Heavyweight Championship on the other shoulder in front of an AEW ring, in front of the stage. That was a proud moment for myself. And that's also what helped me keep myself motivated. Like, this is where I want to be. And this is what I'm going to do. And this is how hard I'm going to work to get to my goal. And right now, I've only wrestled twice this year, but I'm the type of person that I don't give up on certain things. And like I told you in the past before, we had to do a podcast on the weekend, Sunday. I work a total of four, actually four jobs. One
Hey.
job, we'll get into this. So I have a full-time job where I'm a diesel mechanic slash detailer. I do a little bit of everything around here. I do that second shift. So normally I come in 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I leave at midnight. Before I come into my full-time job, I work at my local YMCA. and I wanted to work there because I get the benefit of having a free membership, and then I get to work out there as well
Right.
for free. So I worked there part time for 4 to 5 hours a day, Tuesday through Friday. It used to be every other Saturday, but now that changed. Um, so that's my other part time job. On top of being a Door Dasher, I also DoorDash. So my mornings consist from waking up in the morning, even on Monday when I don't work at the Y. That's my day off from the Y. I still wake up. I want to say 7:30, 8 o'clock. Go out by 9 on Mondays. DoorDash until I want to say about 12:30, 1 o'clock. Go to the YMCA, work out for a couple hours, and go back out, go to my full time job, work, come home, sleep, maybe get 4 or 5 hours in. And then the next day I get up at around 7 o'clock, eat my breakfast, go out and DoorDash for about 45 minutes to an hour, then go to the Y, work there for about 4 or 5 hours, get done working, work out for an hour, get done doing that, go to my full time job until midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I go back home, get maybe about 4 or 5 hours of sleep, get up and do the same thing over again. That's my whole week. And if that's the way it's been since I want to say April 2nd of this year.
So you don't have time. You don't really have time to even be a wrestler.
Well, the
Much
weekends
less game.
my weekends are pretty much open when I don't have my kids. I have my kids every other weekend, so um, they're starting to get more curious about the wrestling side of things. So I'm hoping that sometime they'll be open to coming with me to a show. They're right now they're just too young. They don't know the concept of reality versus storylines and etc.
Yeah. I know. God.
But
Some
it's
wrestlers
a
bring their kids out, but some don't want to keep them away from the wrestling stuff until they're much older. But
right, and that's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
like what I wanted to do.
Yeah. So, gosh, if you're working like 80 hours a week, yeah, you can't wrestle, or you don't have time to be a wrestler. You don't really have time to game either. Well, I was going to bring this up because, I got this little belt here. So this is the Galloping Ghost Arcade T20 Championship, which is this one was the 2020 version.
Wow.
So next month, and I'm gonna throw this up here. Oh, I gotta stop sharing so I can share a different window. Uh, Next month is the annual or the 11th annual Galloping Ghost Arcade T20 tournament from August 8th to the 10th. I should ask you from the outset, have you ever been to the Galloping Ghost Arcade?
I have not.
Ah! And you're in Dubuque, Iowa, so, or should I have said that? I think you
Well, that's
said that.
in Chicago, right?
Brookfield, yes, but in the Chicago
Okay.
area. Um, yeah, you can make the trek across on. I don't recommend using the tollway, so I'd say just take a US 30 across or something. I don't know. But
Right.
this is the largest arcade in the country. And yeah, I've held 4 different championships with Galloping Ghost, in addition to my 1991 Nintendo Campus Challenge championship. Um, yes, I brought my Gamer of the Year belt to the Midwest Gaming, and then the Pinball Expo one to the Midwest Gaming, and yes, I think I brought the T20. I don't remember. Regardless, this is an arcade tournament, 20 games. You have 21 hours to amass as high scores on all 21 or 20 games until the last coin drop. $500 first prize and the championship belt is on the line. Do you think you could enter a tournament like this?
Yeah.
how do you think you would do if you didn't know what the games were and they might be games you've never ever heard of?
Yeah, that's the thing about these tournaments like this is that you got to go in with an open mind because if you go in into anything like worrying about I have no idea what's going on, I have no idea. It's kind of like the wrestling too, and this is how I put wrestling and gaming together as one. You got to go into every single match and every single tournament when it comes to gaming with an open mind. The more of an open mind you have, the more relaxed you're going to be, the less worried you're going to be, and the more focused you will be. And that's something that was also taught to me that I'm really grateful for by the franchise Shane Douglas. And I use that too, like I said, in gaming as well because it's the truth. Like if you go into something and you're worried about it, and you let that kind of get to you, then yeah, you will fail. You will be destined to fail. And it's kind of like with me, before every match, and it's going to be this way until the day that I retire. Um, Before my match, and my opponent goes out first, and I'm sitting there or standing around, jumping up and down, trying to get hyped up. I have all these butterflies in my stomach. I'm nervous as all hell. I'm thinking that something bad could happen. I take water, I dump it all over my head, get hyped up. Once my music hits and I walk through that curtain, everything disappears. I turn my personality all the way up to 11. Johnny Cass comes out, no longer John Pike. It's Johnny Cass. And it's something I don't ever want to go away from until I have to, until I know that it's time, until my body tells me, hey, you got to stop doing this.
I will say
And
that because I've been, gosh, wrestling fan since 1985. First, Saturday night's main event, the very first episode of that kind of just drew me into the wrestling stuff. Well, as I stated earlier, much earlier in the podcast, wrestling's crept into the gaming scene. Well, yeah. Yeah, we got the title belts. We got these title belts in gaming now. And yes, I do cut promos against other gamers.
that's the thing about it. It's what adds to it, man. And this is where I got the idea of the DLC match. Originally, I got to give credit to where credit is due. Um, we call him Red,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I can't remember. I'm sorry, Red. I can't
Is it
remember your real
T-Red?
name. No, no, this guy's up in Wisconsin, Baraboo,
Okay.
I believe.
Well, there's some
He
other
runs.
gentleman named C-Red that retired not too long ago.
Oh well, this guy's a promoter,
Okay.
and he runs NRW, which is uh, No Regrets Wrestling, and
Okay.
he this promotion is the one where I won my actual first title belt, wrestling related, and I got to give props to him because he's the one that brought up um, the DLC first to
Okay.
me. And he was like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And then he sends me an image, and it says DLC, doors, Legos, and chairs, and I'm like,
Doors. Oh, that's what it stands for. I thought downloadable content, but then again, Chrome crashed.
"Well,
Chrome
see,
crashed on me before you explained it. I guess you explained to everybody else. I just didn't hear it.
yeah, and see, that's how I kind of like tied that in with the gaming aspect of it because the DLC match, downloadable content."
Doors.
I'm the one that's going to be bringing the DLC to my wrestling matches, the downloadable content. But in wrestling terms, it's going to be called the Doors, Legos, and Chairs match. And for those type of matches, they're not just going to be normal matches for me. No, 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 no. They're going to be speed runs for me. Speed run match.
Well, we got
So
WWE
something.
Speed, the Speed division at WWE now. So now you have to Now you have a division that's actually speed run the match to win the title if you're gonna win it at all because you have less than 5 minutes.
I've also got a couple of how do I say this? Cheat codes up my glove, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm,
That I will be adding to these types of matches, and I can't wait for people to check out the very first DLC match, wherever that may be. Could be here in the Midwest, could be out in the West, could be out in the East Coast, could be international. Hell, I could be the first DLC match could take place when I go over to Kuala Lumpur in November. Who knows? Um,
I could have
the
sworn you
plan
had one of those matches in your highlight video.
that was a ladder match for a different title.
Okay. So there's ladders involved. I saw Legos on the mat, so I assumed that was it. But no.
Here's the funny part. So
BL
originally,
double LC match, I guess you could call it that.
yeah, DLLC.
DLLC, yeah. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I don't know why I listened to this suggestion, but I did it. I should have just said, you know what, screw it. While I was out there, it was suggested that I put spread the Legos in the corner of the ring, and I'm like, why? And it was explained to me, well, we got to bring the ladder in here, and we got to, make sure it doesn't tip over. I was thinking to myself, I was like, it's not going to tip over because they're on Legos. Just use your foot and move them out of the way. But I ended up bringing up the bag. Everybody thought it was thumbtacks. That was great, man. Everyone thought I was like, you guys don't know me too well, do you? So grab the bag from underneath the ring, and I roll in. And as I'm rolling in, the bag, I made sure that the bag would rip open as soon as I stood back up on an accident. So this way, it looks like it wasn't planned to be. All the Legos fell out of the bag in the corner because that's originally where they said they wanted me to do it. I said, fine, that's fine, whatever. Then there was only supposed to be one person that got slammed on the Legos. So the guy that was getting slammed on the Legos, I pushed him back, did a hip toss. He landed on the Legos. And then as I turned around, I said, I want next. Go over. The other guy came, he got me, bam. And then the other guy that was in the triple threat with us, he got slammed on the Legos. And then I come back in. I run towards my other opponent. He picks me up and slams me on the Legos. And I'm sitting there selling it. And I'm like, I roll out of the ring. And I start crawling towards the gate where the fans are, where the front row is. And I heard out of my left ear this kid freaking out saying, he's got Legos sticking out of his back. And I'm like, yes, I did my job. Like I could, you would think that this would actually hurt being like landed on being slammed on Legos. And when you're out there, like I said, I'm turned up to 11. I am no longer John Pike. I am Johnny Cass. So the
Yeah.
adrenaline has got me going in my head to the point where when I got slammed, I didn't feel a damn thing. And that's something that you have to teach yourself how to do. And that's why I'm grateful, going through the process that I did in training. And because I honestly don't think that I ever in my life would ever want to experience being slammed on Legos.
Yeah, I've always wondered why they do these ultra hardcore matches, why they put themselves. They click. Oh, I feel it, but not as much as I would have otherwise because my adrenaline's going so daggum sky high. And then they never realize they're injured, and
Yep.
then later after the match is over, then they really feel it afterwards. Like I was rear-ended in a car. I didn't feel pain in up here until like I don't know a half hour later, and ended up having to call insurance back and saying now I'm starting to hurt.
Right.
Thankfully, I had a chiropractor. took care of me, but
Glad
I
you're
was
okay.
sore. I was sore for a couple of weeks. Anyway, other games you play. Um, talked about Nintendo. You said it hasn't come up, but you're into Sonic the Hedgehog heavily.
Oh yeah.
Uh, do you play pinball? Have you played pinball?
I I do. I love pinball. I don't love it as much as like, the hardcore pinball players do. But I enjoy the competitive aspect of it as well as just playing for the fun of it. I'm more or less just playing for the fun. Um, I I was ecstatic when I saw an actual custom built Sonic Spinball pinball machine. I was
Oh
like blown
yes.
away. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god, I got to try this!" And anybody that knows me personally knows that how big of a Sonic fan I am. Yes, I prefer Sega over Nintendo. That's the way I was when I was a kid. That's the way that I still am. I have conversations about this with everybody I talk to, just because of the fact that Sonic, I just preferred Sonic over Mario.
Yeah.
I have an equal love for each company, but Sonic was my main guy and the
Yeah.
games. Just because to me it felt like more Sonic had more of a story to tell. Whereas you're going through these levels in like let's say Super Mario World for Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
and you never had like any besides like the what do you call it, the mini bosses like Bowser's kids. Like
Yeah.
you fought them, but there was really no story behind it.
Mhm.
Each
Other than
time,
kidnapping Princess Peach again.
right. But when you're playing Sonic, at every single, let's say Act Two, in Sonic Two, at the end of every single Act Two, you face Robotnik and you fight him and you beat him and he runs away scared. And then he comes back at the next Act Two at the end of that level with an even bigger and better machine, and you beat him and he runs scared again until you finally get to the Death Egg, where he pulls out the big guns and he's in this fucking mecha robot thing, and you're like, oh man, I don't know if I can beat him now. And when you do beat him, it tells more of a story too, because now you're flying back to planet Earth or planet Mobius, wherever he's from, and then these pictures come up and they tell the story, and then it I don't know, it just makes me feel more complete when I play those games than it ever did when I played Mario.
All right. How about fighting games? How good are you at those?
I absolutely love fighting games. I actually won a tournament, a Street Fighter Two tournament back in 1997 or 98 at a comic book store here in my hometown.
Hmm. Well, I got this coming up. This is one at the Headless Horseman in Wheeling, which is next Sunday.
Okay.
Killer Instinct at the Goblin Ghost on July the 27th. There is a title belt on the line. Uh, if you win the belt, you better show up to defend it, because the last few champions we've had, they win the belt and then they don't defend it and then end up getting vacated. Which, if it happens again, the belt is going to be returned to the former champion and their title win stricken from the record for obvious reasons. But there's an interim belt on the line for this one up here. The regular belt for this one. But I'll be at this one. I will not be able to go to this one because I will be, at the Missouri Game Con in Manchester,
Okay.
Missouri. They do not have a wrestling show there. Illinois Game Con did, which had a cosplay.
Yeah, you see that? You see that now? Now that I became now that I entered the Midwest Gaming Classic as their champion, and they had wrestling there. Now all of a sudden, these other conventions are having wrestling.
Yeah,
And if you've noticed, every year since then, since 2023, the numbers have gone up to the Midwest Gaming Classic in attendance. I think Johnny Cass may have had something to do with that.
Well, maybe next year at Illinois Game Con, that's in Bloomington. Maybe you can get a hold of the promoter at Iron Spirit Pro and let you enter the Smash Bros. Wrestling match.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yes.
I'd absolutely love to. I'll put my title on the line there too if they want to. If they want to do a match,
That would, yeah.
I've got the permission from Dan himself, letting me know that if I want to defend that championship belt anywhere that I go, that I have his permission. But the new stipulations that I've talked to with Matt Isbell about this, details are coming out soon. This week, actually. Um, it's only going to be defended 4 times outside of the Midwest Gaming Classic. So if they want to take part in this, this is huge. Because like I said, I'm going to make this belt sought after. And that's not just a hope. That's not a wish or wishful thinking. That is what's going to happen. This belt is going to be known worldwide because I'm taking it with me when I go to Asia in November. I'm also taking it with me when I go to Japan. So, with that being said, now's the chance for those guys to reach out to me and be like, hey, we want you to bring your championship belt. We want you to have like a DLC match or even a standard wrestling match. But it's only going to be 4 times per year. This championship belt is going to be an opportunity, not just a match, but an opportunity for whoever I'm wrestling to get this belt from me and to come to the Midwest Gaming Classic in the main event, the wrestling show, in front of 35,000, well, not 35, you have 35,000 plus attendees show up.
I don't even know what the attendance was last year. All I know is 24. The line was around the entire Bard Center, and I'm glad I get the VIG package every year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not waiting in line. Forget that. I pre-order.
VIG is the way to go every single year, and I'm telling you that. But this gives other wrestlers an opportunity to come showcase who they are, what they're capable of, and their opportunity to come main event at the biggest, and I can't stress this enough, the biggest gaming convention in the United States of America, and that ain't no joke. And who wouldn't want to pass on? Who would pass on this? Nobody.
Nobody.
That's why I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like, I guess some promotions are just home driven and don't want to take any spotlight. Don't want me to take any type of spotlight from anybody. I don't think like that, man. I don't. I want to give people opportunity. I want to give people a chance. The more I'm open to doing that, the more I get challenged. The more I get to push myself. The more I get to go up against people I don't know to see if I have what it takes. Just as much as they have the opportunity to take that belt from me and to main event at the biggest gaming convention in the United States. That's an opportunity for them to be seen.
So I have a question for you. Do you defend that belt in any gaming challenges?
I honestly, I have not done that since I won the belt. I talked to Dan about using the original, because they have the original belt and there's my belt. My belt's used for the wrestling. Their belt is pretty much used for people to take pictures with. It's a prop for people to be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But I think they should hold a tournament every year at the after party to crown a new champion, because I think that, I mean, it gave me, and I told Dan, I'm like, look at the opportunity that you gave me with this championship.
Yeah.
Now I get to help. See, they helped me, and I'm helping them by bringing this belt with me everywhere that I go and helping to get the name of the Midwest Gaming Classic around the U.S., especially now that I'm going overseas to spread the name of the Midwest Gaming Classic over there. Um, I feel like this could also help motivate somebody that needs that extra push, like I needed, um, to realize what they want to do, or if they should pursue something, or keep doing something that makes them happy. So, like, use the original belt to hold a tournament at the after party to crown a new champion every year. So this way, there wouldn't ever be a current champion. There wouldn't ever be, like, a champion that's been champion for 2 or 3 years, like I
Yeah.
was. It gives each and every single person an opportunity to become a new champion, as well as having like maybe like a plaque with someone's name and then the date and then the version of the Midwest Gaming Classic that we're on. I mean, think of what that would do to somebody, like motivational wise. I mean, look what it did for me. I want
I
to do
want
that
more
for other
gold.
people.
I want more. I want more championships. I want more cash and prizes. Yeah, it's like I was gonna suggest maybe at the Galvin Ghost have a best of 7 challenge, randomly drawn games from a hat. Like what?
And
Because I've done a few of those. I've
I,
won a
I was
few of
gonna
those.
I was gonna say, man, like that too would be a major plus as well. Like just having a random game being drawn from a hat, so nobody has had time to practice. I'll admit, when I found out Eric Bischoff was coming and he was holding that event, that tournament, I kind of practiced all the way up to the till the actual tournament,
Yeah.
but to have a real champion that worked hard at staying a part of the game and all the way through and through. I kind of did that, I mean, at the WCW NWO Revenge tournament, but at the same time, just like not even being prepared and putting in all that work during that tournament just to say that you won it, that could fucking do something special to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that they should do. Hell, if they want to host for it, I'll host it. I'd love to.
I know my focus the last couple of years have been on tournaments, which is why I kind of not didn't watch all but one match of the last, gosh, ACW show at the convention because but I finally, my trophy's back there, down there. That trophy over there. There was a retro gaming tournament where the 3 games was, Space Invaders. You had to get how fast you could clear so many points in so many seconds. Then what's the next game? Clear Screen. I think it was Clear Screen Emmys and Legend of Zelda. And then you had to score 5 points against the computer in NBA Jam and have the smallest recorded time. I qualified. And then Five's like, the first year, a guitar and $500 was the first prize. They had money for second place. I finished second the first year. The guy beat me at NBA Jam. It was like, so I took home $500. The following year, it was just the guitar as the grand prize. Same tournament. Finished second again against somebody I know. So year 3, same tournament again, but this time around I bought a copy of NBA Jam Tournament Edition and practiced. So I get to the convention and the only thing on the line is that trophy. And I win it.
Hey,
and
yeah.
And then I tried to play the trophy as a guitar.
And what I want to do too is I've talked to Dan about this as well, because when they had that WWF No Mercy tournament,
Yeah.
and it was only just a tournament. I was like, man, I can't just let a tournament just be a tournament with no prize. That's
Right.
no fun, right? It's really cool if you win something. So that's when I looked around in my game room and I'm like, I have an extra boxed NES. Let me see if these guys will hold it up for like a first prize uh, gift or something. And they were like, oh yeah, that's cool. We definitely will accept that.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to talk because now that I'm talking to you about it, like I got ideas going through my head about holding this tournament. I'm going to talk to Dan about seeing if this is something that they would love to do, and I'm sure they would, because this tournament would be my tournament, and I would fund the prizes for this tournament. There would be three first, second, and third place. Obviously, I'm not worried about getting the money or prizes or whatever because I'm Johnny Cash. I can make
Right.
stuff happen. And my idea would be to have every tournament I hold to have somebody that's there that has been a part of this game. And then they're also going to, on top of winning the prize, win a very special trophy that is signed by this gaming industry professional um, that won at their game.
Right.
Example, I don't know if are you a fan of Street Fighter at all?
I can play Street Fighter. Yes.
Okay, so you're well aware
I'm
of the
decent.
characters.
I'm
You're well
decent.
aware that you're well aware of the characters.
There's characters. There's a couple of characters I any iteration of Street Fighter. Yeah, I'm gonna default to Ryu or Ken because
Okay,
there's a couple of characters on each of the fighting game series that I gravitate to as my go-to. Doesn't mean
okay,
I'm gonna if I'm not practiced. Then yeah, I mean if you can do the quarter circle, throw a fireball, and throw the uppercut, yeah, you're gonna go to that character every single time. Anyway, go ahead.
all right. So I work at Hirschbach Motor Lines. It's a trucking company.
Okay.
Three years ago, I came into work, looked for a certain truck I'm supposed to work on. I couldn't find it, and if it wasn't for me not finding this truck, this would have never happened at all. So I'm kind of glad that it did. I came in to the shop and went into the office. As I was walking from that door that goes from the shop to the office and walking towards the second shift lead to ask him, hey, can you look this truck up and see where it's at? He's busy talking to this driver, this new hire. And this was around the time when the Resident Evil actors were just found.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew a little bit about them. I'm starting to talk to Greg, who played Barry Burton, etc. And I heard this driver, because he is about 57, 58 years old. He said that he spent 39, 40 years in Japan.
Mm.
And I don't know, I think he came back to the States around 2015 or 16, something like that. Um, and I don't know why, but I just had to ask him, like, hey, I heard you were you lived in Japan for about 40 years. Um, have you ever heard of so and so, so and so, and so and so? They were American and Australian, but they were there for a while because he was there around the time that they were there doing the filming for Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Yeah, no, I don't know him. I never heard of him." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "Well, why did you ask that question?" And I'm like, "Well, uh, they did some filming for a game called Resident Evil, and the game is from Capcom." And he was like, "Oh, Capcom. I haven't heard that name in years." And I'm like, "What? Did you play Resident Evil before?" And he's like, "No, no. I play Guile in Street Fighter 2."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Guile from Street Fighter 2? I never knew they made a movie about it." He's like, "No, no, no, no. I did the advertisements and commercials for Guile. Capcom hired me on to do that. And he's pulling his phone out and he's like, flipping through pictures and stuff, showing me all this stuff. Stuff I've never seen before in my life that only him and Capcom have pictures of. So at this point, I'm not sure if he's got, well, I'm sure they're his personal pictures. I don't know if Capcom has these, but I'm sure they do, but they forgot about them. But he's showing me these pictures that I've never been before seen.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time, like, I've been a fan of Street Fighter since I was about 7 years old. And the whole time I'm seeing this, like, I'm thinking to myself, man, like, I'm a little starstruck here because only him, Capcom, and now myself are the only ones that have ever seen these pictures. They're him in character as Guile while he was filming. Where did he say he went? I can't remember where exactly he did the filming for it, but he also took pictures of him like standing on this gigantic rock, and behind him was like one of the world's largest waterfalls, etc. And he's explaining the story behind that, and he's explaining the story where he was up against Bison, and
I was going to point out Jean-Claude Van Damme played Guile in the movie.
yes,
Now, apparently, he was supposed to be in part of Mortal Kombat, and then his voice and likeness ended up in the Mortal Kombat 1 as a trivia.
yeah, I remember reading about that.
Jeez.
But yeah, it was crazy because I at this time too, I've always been a fan of gaming, and I'm like, look, like I asked him, I was like, what are you doing working here? You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be at conventions meeting people. And he was like, well, what do you mean? And then I went through the whole history of Street Fighter with him. I told him that it's one of the biggest multi-billion-dollar franchises in gaming history. Street Fighter 2 was one of the biggest selling games ever. The whole time I'm telling him this, now he's looking at me the same way I was looking at him when he was telling me that he's Guile.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was kind of like, oh my God, I had no idea that, it was that big of a deal. And I'm like, yes, it is. I'm like, there's people out there like me that want to meet you. And I was like, give me a chance. Let me work with you. Let me see what I can do for you to get you on these conventions, et cetera, et cetera. And we exchanged information, and we've been in contact ever since. Um, Unfortunately, I've only been able to get him out to Portland Retro Gaming Expo one time. Out of the 3 years that I've known him now, I'm trying to get him to come up to. I'm still trying. I'm not giving up to get him to come out to the Midwest Gaming Classic. Maybe if I can convince Dan to do my tournament idea, he might want to come out. Um, until then, I don't know. I don't. I mean, it's up to both of them guys, really. If they want to work something out, I'm bringing him out. But this guy is like he's completely forgotten about, and the stuff that he has is so rare. Like this deserves to be preserved. This deserves to be seen. Just because of the name Street Fighter. People forgot. Like, were you ever a fan of GamePro magazine back in the day?
Yes. But I
Okay.
had subscribed to Nintendo Power.
Yeah, that's a great thing too. So when GamePro would mail out these magazines to subscribers, they would sometimes include VHS tapes. Well,
Yeah.
he had his own VHS tape that he never even knew about. And I never knew about either until I, did some more digging on his character and what he did for Street Fighter. And I was just blown away. And I'm like, man, like, why is this guy like? I'm trying to fucking reach out to these conventions and stuff, and it's like some I don't some of them don't respond back. The others kind of like, oh well, we'll forward this information to our entertainment directors and get back to you, and they never do. Um, I still have high hopes. I still have the highest hopes that once I go over to Japan as well, um, that and I start talking about this to these guys, I'm going to be able to kind of maybe catch some fire with some conventions over there, possibly about bringing him there, as well as maybe some other gaming industry guys that I also work with under this agency, and I'm very thankful and glad that I actually did get signed on with these guys because it's now I get to say that I work alongside of these actors and gaming professional industry legends. You know, now I'm a part of that in a way, and I like to thank Derek, my manager slash agent, for giving me the opportunity and for seeing my talents for what they are worth.
Maybe I need to get signed or something because although
Wait,
my gaming cred, but
you're
uh,
you are you said you're a Nintendo campus champion?
I'm the 1991 Nintendo Campus Challenge national champion. I came after Thor Ackerlin.
Oh,
Yes, Thor
okay.
Ackerlin won in '90. I was kind of the lesser known Nintendo champion, but which is why I kind of made myself pretty accessible. On like, I want to meet Thor, by the way. I went down to Dallas, Texas, and tried to do a seminar at another gaming convention down there, and he could not get off work. Probably should have done it on a Sunday instead of a Saturday, but be that as it may, I didn't get to meet him, and then he showed up the year after.
That's cool. That's something that also, in my opinion, should be celebrated because not everybody gets to say that they're a legit Nintendo World Champion.
Well, it's for colleges
But
because
still,
yeah. Although
you're still a Nintendo World
yes,
Champion. I mean,
one of the few, yes, and then the only Campus Challenge champion because the '92 tournament was on the Super Nintendo, but they drew the grand prize winner out of a hat. They
out
didn't
of a
have a
hat.
they yes. The grand prize winner got $10,000. They didn't fly all the winners somewhere to have a tournament like I had. They got flown down to Disney World, and then we had a playoff at Disney Marketplace with 4 elimination rounds, and I was last man standing at the end. I held
Okay.
won the title, won the car.
Man,
Geostorm was the car. Geostorm was the car. I still have it. Yeah, 35 years later.
wow.
Although it's gonna have to end up in a museum at some point because I only have room for 2 vehicles in my garage, and I need a truck to tote around arcade games in the back of it if I even want to get arcade games or a pinball machine for that matter. Anyway, turn that screen off there.
That's honestly like. Do you ever get like noticed or anything like that, or talked about for the Nintendo World
Um,
Championships?
I need to have, I don't know, maybe I need to make a title belt, but I don't carry the trophy around because it's glass and I don't want it to get broken. These things are so convenient because you can just wear these. They're made of metal and leather, and if you need to replace the strap, you can just get a new strap and just take the plates off and screw it onto a new belt. Uh, but when I was the champion at Galloping Ghost Arcade, yes, I took the Midwest. I took the belts to the game cons. And yes, people shucks, like after I won this belt and started walking around with them, people were looking at it. So,
That's cool.
and I tell people, I'm one of the few that takes this a little more seriously, carrying the belt around. Or Galvin Ghost champions, they win the belt, but that's like they not show up with the belt, like because they have a weekly stream at Galvin Ghost where they unveil a new arcade game to the floor. Unfortunately, the current Gamer of the Year champion only shows up there once a weekend. Well, shows up for T20, but no other time. So his belt hadn't been seen. The Gamer of the Year belt hasn't been seen for almost a year. When I was the current champion of this, I took it around everywhere I went. When at the arcade or the game cons, I took this
It's a
along
badge
with
of
me.
honor.
Yes, it's a badge of honor, of course. And
I've had people at wrestling shows like call me out on my championship because when I go to every show, I have it with me and I have it displayed in my case that came with the belt. And the people that don't know about it, I will let them know what it is and how I got it. But other times, people will be like, "That belt doesn't belong here," and blah 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 blah. And everybody's entitled to
I'd
their
say
own
wah
opinion.
wah wah is what I'd say.
Well, maybe if I was the heel, that's what I would do. But I mean, everybody has their own opinions. If they don't agree with it, that's cool. That's cool if they think that. But I mean, that's who Johnny Cass is. He's the champion. He's a world
Okay.
champion in gaming that wants to be a world champion in professional wrestling, and he's going to prove it. And I've already accomplished my goal in the gaming side of things by being the Midwest Gaming Classic world champion for so long now. Um, that I want to become a world champion in every promotion that I go to, and I'm going to work just as hard as I did when I won that championship belt. And I'm proving that by showing my work ethic uh, every single week and showing everybody that no matter how much I work, I'm always putting into work in the gym on top of my 16-hour work days
Yeah.
because you can't be slacking. You gotta be on top of your game. This is how it is. If you want to be good at something and if you're passionate about it, you got to make the sacrifices, and that's what Johnny Cass does.
I gotta show this off. Let's see if I can do this. So I'm gonna be at the Missouri Game Con. Yeah, I had to print something. I had to up my presentation a little bit, but this is me holding the title belt in this banner that I just printed. Oh,
That's cool.
I got a vendor table at Missouri Game Con,
Do
so
you have? Do you, I don't mean to interrupt you, but do you have any photos or anything like that from when you were at the campus challenge?
I do have some. I've the most recent edition of the Guinness World Book of Records Gamers Edition, entry number 55. There's a couple shots from that. I would have to pull out my little photo album to. Yeah, I need. I got this page now. Maybe I need to scan some of them and start posting more of them because
You should take some of the pictures from that have you in it and create a banner because there's probably going to be a minority of people out there that are like me and that see the value that you have, especially at these conventions, to where I think you might have something there to be a guest
yeah,
because you hold the 1991 Campus Nintendo World Championship, and that is something that I think that should be celebrated, just as Thor Ackerlund holds that championship of being the first ever Nintendo World Champion.
I will say
And
I have done a panel at the Midwest Classic in the past. We got a group of Nintendo champions together and did a panel. I
that's
don't know what.
cool.
I think it was
Wasn't
2018 or 2017, one of the two.
Didn't Thor Ackland show up to Midwest Gaming Classic one year?
No, not that I know of. If
Oh, I
if
thought
he was, if I knew he would, if he was announced as coming, I would have sought him out. Guaranteed. I do also have these trading cards.
oh, that's cool.
These are the Walter Day trading cards, so you might want to have a conversation with gosh, what was his name? Todd. Now, all of a sudden I forget his last name. What the heck? Todd Fetterman. It's not Fetterman. Friedman. There, yes, Todd Friedman. You might, since you got that championship belt and you're kind of a media personality at the game con, you might want to look into getting in the series.
That would be cool. I would be honored. So I'll reach out to him. Friedman?
Todd Freeman, who is
Okay.
he's got a retro gaming magazine going. If I can remember, gosh, now I blank out on a whole slew of things all of a sudden. It's been 2.5 hours. Yeah, a week gone much longer than I thought we were going to go, but it is what it is. It's old school gamer magazines. Who he's
Oh, yeah. I believe I talked to somebody about actually, I can't remember how it was brought up, but I was actually talking to them about doing an article on how I started managing the Resident Evil cast before they got signed on to Malice Media.
yeah.
And
Ryan Berger probably.
probably I think that's who it was. But I told them because they were asking me questions, from back in the '90s, and I'm like, back in the '90s, I didn't manage them. I was about 6, 7, 8 years old at the time.
Cool. You're just you're
Right.
in grade school, first grade, like, and I'm sitting here like I'm about to turn 54. So it's like, then, oh gosh, started with a started with the Atari 2600 and Space Invaders, and then it's like now fellow gamers I've who grew up with the stuff, and now, yeah, time's not on my side apparently. Being 54 now, and then we just had
Oh,
a gaming figure pass away last week. Um, oh,
I heard about that.
yes, Patrick Davis, who lives in the Quad Cities, who lived in the Quad Cities. That's kind of close to you, but he passed away um, due to medical complications from pneumonia from a decade ago, and then becoming a quadruple amputee.
Yeah, I believe the Midwest Gaming Classic shared a post on that.
He was there in last year.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, we're at the end of the podcast because we went 2.5 hours. Expect to go no more than 90 minutes, but I'm
We're
glad to
having too much fun.
Yeah, I get long winded and with the guests, and it's like the time just flies. But there's your Malice Media LLC page. I shared your Facebook page earlier as
The
well.
link.
Yes, and maybe I'll bug a couple of people close to me and see about what they. And this is another thing. I didn't even think of this earlier. Only booked twice. Could it also be a factor of is your talent fee too high, or do you think it's reasonable?
No, so my talent fee, I like to keep things realistic. I don't view myself as a top dollar personality or independent celebrity, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
I keep it around like the $50 to $60 range. Um, that's all I do, and I also have um, Derek, who's my agent. He also helps take care of all of my signings and appearance stuff. And if I talk to them personally, I usually set up everything myself, or they can reach out to Derek, my agent, through Malice Media. The link, which is right here. So
Mhm.
If any game cons or conventions, like I've been asked to join Planet Funk Con, or I reached out one year to Planet Funk Con, and they were like, "Yeah, come on board, we'll have you." And then um, Madison Con, I think, wanted to have me as a guest, and then another convention here that's local that goes all over the Midwest. They wanted to have me, I believe, or I went on with them. I can't remember. I do also reach out to these guys and they say, "Hey, would you want me to be on your convention show?" Normally they're like, "Well, we can't afford to have you," and I tell them, "Well, just let me go there. I really don't care about getting paid at that time."
Hmm.
Um, but now that I'm signed and everything, he's got everything set up for me to make everything fair. Um, so I don't charge that much personally. If I especially, when I go to the Midwest Gaming Classic, I take care of that on my own. When I go to Portland Retro, um, I think Derek's taking care of that for me. Um, Planet Funk Con, that was on me. Madison Con, that was on me. Like I said, I'm open to dealing with it myself, or if anybody wants to, reach out to my agent, Derek, and he'll take care of everything.
All right, Giant Cass. Thank you for taking time out of your excessively cramped schedule. I guess we'll call it that. To come out here on a Sunday afternoon and just make up for last week, I guess, or 2 weeks ago. But
Right on.
I was glad to have you on.
Yeah, I had a
And
blast.
I hope to see you around Galloping Ghost soon.
I hope to make it out.
All right. Well, see if you can make the tournament or maybe one of the fighting game tournaments at Blade Wars because there is a belt on the line. So you want more
I'll
belts.
do my
I
best.
assume
I
you want
do.
more belts. Yes.
I
So
do.
do I. So
I
this
want
will
more
be
bragging rights.
all right. Johnny, thank you. Have a good night. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, that was Johnny Cass. And next week, I got to throw everything back on the screen because, oops, that's not what I want. I have to throw things back on the screen because this dadgum uh, browser decided to crash on me earlier. And now I've lost my PowerPoint presentation. Oh, I was going to show you who's on my show next week. Let's see. Let me get this back up if I can. All right, share. Next week, oh gosh, I gotta fish through this thing again. Well, anyway, next Thursday I do have a regular podcast normally scheduled, and it'll be Thursday at 8 o'clock. There we go. Now I can put this back on the screen. I am gonna read a channel, so kind of hold on for that. Oh, I still gotta take that banner off. Matthew Nasha and Lionel Cantu will be on the podcast next week. This Thursday, July 17th. Whether I have them on together or have them on separately and then just join together at the end, it's probably going to be I'm going to do one first and the next one, and then have the roundtable at the end to talk about the upcoming Blade Wars tournaments, maybe T20, maybe the anniversary coming up at Galloping Ghost Arcade. So tune in this Thursday for that. And that will do it for this special Sunday edition of the Crimeycade podcast. I am going to be running a channel. Mossy Sagopian is doing their yearly Legends of Zelda fundraiser. They are playing through all the Legend of Zelda games, all of them, including the Philips CDI. You can believe that. That's pretty hardcore. So, I'm going to rate that channel and stay tuned and let them know what you saw here from this. And until next time, I'm the Grand Conservative Crime Buyer. Have a good night, everybody.